Hello again, friends. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. We've got a super exciting podcast with you this week. I can't wait to share our guests with you. You're going to learn a lot about how you can take care of yourself in the next hour of your life. So buckle up, everyone. Welcome, everyone. My name's Ed Harold. Welcome to our Life with Breath Expert Series. Today we have the most amazing person with us. We have the Mr. Tim Vandervliet from Europe, and he's going to enlighten us with all the skills that he's using with people across the world so they live a more vibrant, a more purpose-filled, a more loving existence in these challenging times of 2021. So before I bring Tim in, could we just take a minute and hit the brakes on our life? Just maybe close our eyes, connect with our breath. Press your feet firmly down into this amazing planet that hosts all of the experiences for us. And just sense how you're connected to something bigger than yourself as soon as you press your feet down into Mother Earth and you take command over her oxygen and carbon dioxide. Let your eyes rest back in the sockets. There's nothing to see outside right now. Separate your teeth a fraction of an inch and let go of any tension in the low jaw or around your tongue. And notice the sensations associated with relaxing these two sense organs while you slow your breath down and eavesdrop on the conversation that's in your mind. And as you begin to breathe slower, relax into whatever's there for you, whether it's pleasure or non-pleasure. And as the body releases tension in the spine, lengthens, notice how the brain enjoys that. And as you inhale, stabilize the spine and your mind. And as you exhale, release and relax into whatever is in the intelligence of your belly at this moment. Inhale, stable the spine and the mind. Exhale, relax this beautiful body of yours, every single molecule. One more round. Straight spine, open mind. Exhale. Just let it all go. The good, the not so good, the successes and the non-successes. Let them all go. The next time you inhale, hold the breath in several seconds and drop your mind behind and below your navel. Release the pressure slowly. Deflate the lungs fully. Hold the breath out several seconds and sense yourself doing more with less. Becoming more efficient. And then inhale again. Hold the breath in a little bit longer this time. And the idea here is while you're holding in, try to relax and expand on every level that you have access to. On that first call to exhale, that's usually ego-based. Let that go. On that second call to exhale, that's body-based. Respect that for now and let the pressure go. Completely deflate your lungs. Hold the breath out several seconds and just be in that gap, that beautiful gap in our minds. And just let your body breathe on its own for a couple breaths. Settle in. Open up every pore so it can listen to this conversation. And in your own way, you can learn skills. Take a deep breath in through your nose, exhale out through your mouth. Oh, man, I am so excited to be with everyone here today. Mr. Tim, where are
Yes.
you on Earth right now?
I'm in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, which is
I've heard of
between Germany and England.
you keeping the peace between those two?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I noticed you had a bit of a problem with pronouncing my last name, which
I'm
is
sorry
normal.
about that.
It's normally English people or American people say Tim Vandervliet, but it's Tim Vandervliet. But Vliet is good enough. I listen to Hey You or whatever. So Tim Vandervliet is good, but it's officially Tim Vandervliet.
Fleet, I love that. And it's so clean the way you say it. It kind of rolls off your tongue. Beautiful.
Yeah, kind of should, right? If it's your own name.
So we connected a few months back, and you're a detailed teacher of breath work to teachers and laypersons. You are a master of the ice bath and the benefits of the ice bath. And you teach this all over the globe.
Yes.
I was so excited to meet with you because I totally believe in what you're doing as one of the major keys to stalling aging, keeping us healthy, keeping us light, getting those dopamine hits where we really feel good about ourselves. But, what I like to ask a lot of folks getting started with, when you were a young boy, obviously you had no idea that you would be this master teacher who you are today. What was it like being a kid growing up?
Well, it was actually quite okay. I remember the first one I used my breath was in the cold, Amsterdam, and it was a lot colder like 40 years ago. But I forgot my winter jacket and I was wearing a summer jacket and it was bloody cold, like cold, cold, cold. And I was shivering and I didn't know what to do. And then I took deep belly breath, 3 of them, and I was okay. Mm-hmm. And this is actually my first experience with breath work. And the funny thing now is that I'm a Wim Hof Method instructor. Wim is also a friend of mine. So I travel around the world teaching people how to breathe and put them in an ice bath. So, in other words, I sell them thin air and a lot of cold. But that first experience was with the cold. And I noticed that, hey, if I breathe through my belly, I actually don't get cold. Mm-hmm. And, it's funny you ask about it because I didn't think of this actually, I don't remember the last time I thought about it, but that was my first experience. And now I'm doing that. And no, I didn't expect that to happen. Definitely not.
Yeah. So you've got great passion and you communicate that passion with deep skills because obviously you're extremely successful in what you do. When you meet your clients, mm-hmm. how does that look like? How does that feel? What is the process of the initial step of creating context, and then the transformational work, and then the integration piece?
Yeah, so I teach groups mostly. Basically because I'm a bit expensive. I do one-on-ones too, but it's mostly with how you call it, high wealth people that are I ask a lot per hour basically. So I teach groups mostly, and it's different online. I do online group coaching, for example, where you really get to know people because you see them, say 6 weeks every week or half a year every week. And I teach, more like weekends. Mm-hmm. I was last weekend in London, 2 weeks before in Estonia, 2 weeks before in Norway, and so on and on. So what I think is very important as an instructor, and I kind of like to see that myself, is to not take myself all too serious. I'm the opposite. I call myself the know nothing instructor, and I start often with, let's say that I'm a charlatan, that I I'm just selling you. You don't know what I'm selling you, whatever I say, because I talk about science. I'm a friend of Wim. There's a lot of science based information about cold training and about breathing exercises. Let's say I'm a charlatan because I want people to question what I say
Mm-hmm.
and to test it for themselves. And that is kind of maybe one of the selling points, is that I can show people within like a few minutes that this is just, I don't know, can we swear, or
We can
freaking
go.
awesome. It's just fucking awesome. It's just amazing. So what I think it's very important that I'm the opposite of the guru that is on his podium with the picture of his guru there. No, I'm
Mhm.
on the same level. We all learn from each other, and I'm a total breathwork nerd. So probably, and you bought a ticket for my training,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that I know everything. And then if I don't know a question, I just say, good question. I don't know. Give me your phone number. We'll find it out. I will text you later. So not
Mhm.
taking myself all too serious. I think that's important.
Well, I think students and patients and clients really like authenticity, and
Yes.
the effect that we can say, that's a great question. I don't know the answer, and I will find out and follow back up with you. I think people love that rather
Mm,
than kind of like the doctor patient kind of
exactly.
hierarchy of like, I'm this and you're that, and we're going to see how we can get through these numbers and try to, bring your chart back into balance.
I think this is a big problem with humans, is that they give away authority
Yeah.
to the doctor, to politicians. Like, I think this is one of my values actually, Ed, to
Mhm.
question authority, to think for
Mhm.
yourself, and to test things. So this
Mhm.
is why I tell people, don't trust what I say. You want to test it for yourself, because like, if you're just going to believe me, you're not going to take away anything. Well, if you test for yourself if this stuff is working or not, who knows? But it works, like, for
Mhm.
actually always.
Mhm.
And then you've proven yourself. And often, like, people that come to a weekend course, they tend to follow like a longer path with me and become breathwork nerds and eventually the best instructor in the world.
Mhm. Mhm. One of the things that I really appreciate about working with the breath is that no matter what technique or style that you're doing, is that it brings you into the truth. It brings you smack dab with your reality. It brings you into the present, like the ice bath. It brings you present. You have
Yeah.
to be in the moment, in that reality.
Yes.
And like you can't fix any emotional dysfunction or psychological dysfunction when you're not in the present moment.
Hmm.
So whether you're working with the breath or working with the tub or working both together, you're in the present moment, you're facing the music, and the goodness of the universe is bringing us all back into a better version of ourselves, i.e., the truth.
Exactly. Like, you cannot bullshit the ice.
Mm-hmm.
You can bullshit yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe your friends, or try to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in the ice bath, it's like God, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not always your best friend,
Right.
but you cannot fool God, basically. And then it's exactly as you say, like, how do you handle an ice bath and
Mm-hmm.
even become comfortable in it, is to be in the present moment. And then this is taught by many spiritual teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But then what I like to talk about is, so how do you actually do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's nice, present moment,
Mm-hmm.
like, um, but how do you do that? And
Mm-hmm.
exactly as you already said, it's by breathing. And by what kind of breathing? By slowing down your breath to the max. I know
Mm-hmm.
I just feel you say exactly the same. We don't know each other that well, people. We don't know each other that well. But by slowing down your breathing, you get to be in a very short time, in an extreme deep meditative moment,
Mm-hmm.
even if you do this 1 minute. And I
Mm-hmm.
have a few tips and tricks, and also for people to test this. So you don't believe what I
Mm-hmm.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Test it for yourself.
It's funny when you talk about the tub and get into the tub and it's God or what, it's yeah, the funny thing is like when folks don't like the like if they don't like the message, they go after the messenger rather than deal with the message. The bottom line is when you get in that tub, that's both the message and the messenger.
Yeah. I never got smacked in the face because somebody didn't like the ice bath, but maybe that is still to come. It's all your fault.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, a big thing to be successful in anything is preparation. And I'm sure a lot of what you do is you get folks prepared to be in the water so that when they get in the water, they can control their nervous systems or they can control their heart rate or, whatever, or burn fat, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I think preparation is one of the things that we see being omitted from so many human platforms of skill that we see today. Everybody just wants to be great right off the bat. And we forget that, you had to start out in kindergarten. Like you have to be in beginner's mind. You have to prepare this nervous system so that when the issues come up, your body and mind are ready to deal with it. What are some of the things that you like to do with folks physically and mentally before you put them in?
Well, it's a whole training, but first of all, I want people to show themselves that this stuff is working. I would like to do this with your crowd as well. So we do 1 minute of, because I should introduce this a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Like, what happens if we have stress? And then we have two kinds of stress. Like real stress, like walking in England, being from Amsterdam, continuously you look at the wrong way, and this Tesla pulls up and you just in time can step backwards. Yeah, that's real stress. But most of it, and it's serious, I come there 6 times a year and it's so confusing. I walk the street like this, like left, right, because I'm completely confused. The second way we have stress is that we make it up in our mind. You look in a certain way that makes me insecure, goes back to this moment in my whatever, some trauma comes up. Now, for our body and mind, it really doesn't matter if we make up the stress or if it's real stress.
Mm-hmm.
But we start activating the sympathetic or fight or flight. Adrenaline is released, blood pressure goes up, heartbeat goes up. And what happens to our breath?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, we don't notice it, but in an extreme way, we start to hyperventilate. At the higher end of your lungs, you breathe mouth in, mouth out, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is, if you understand, that's why I find the science, or maybe the physiology. The physiology is how our breath works.
Mm-hmm.
The science is like, we have this paper that shows this and this and this. I love both, but this is more physiology.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know that happens, then that if you're able to slow down your breathing in a stressful moment, you might get out of that stress, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's like the basic physiology. The two words that I say in the beginning, and I keep on repeating over a full weekend, is breathe slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Know that breathing slowly is calming you down.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get from stress to calmness in a minute time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that, don't trust what I say. Let's test this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're, of course, a professional breath worker, but, I'm sure there's some people also watching this. What we're going to do, we do 1 minute of slow breathing. And I mean, like, really slow down your breathing. So I'm going to time 1 minute, and you and everybody else are going to slow down their breathing.
Thank you.
Then you want to notice already how that makes you feel. And then we're going to do 5 minutes of breathing. And I call this simplified Tumo breathing. It's derived from the very complicated Tibetan Tumo that the Tibetan monks use to reach enlightenment and to heat up their body. You know that story of the Tibetan monks? You put them in the freezer with a piece of cloth around their shoulders, and half an hour later, that piece of cloth is dry. They heat, and they use this breathing technique, but I simplified it because way too many breathing techniques are too complicated, and it's about starting it off. So we do 5 minutes of Tumo breathing. And then 1 minute of slow breathing again. So I hope that everybody who joins shows themselves what you can reach, apart from how it feels, what you can reach in terms of measurable, being able to slow down your breathing more.
Exciting.
Yeah, right?
Let's go for it.
Okay, cool. So let me explain shortly what this very simplified Tumo is like. You sit straight. It's a sitting exercise, either cross legs or feet on the ground, as you say very beautifully. We take 5 deep belly breath, nose in, mouth out. And then breath number 6, we breathe in. We just hold while we concentrate on our lower belly. For 10 seconds, and I will guide everybody so you don't have to remember or write it down. For 10 seconds, we hold our breath and then we breathe out slowly, say for 10 to 20 seconds. That's 1 round, takes 1 minute. We do 5 rounds, that's 5 minutes.
Great.
Good?
Exciting. I'm excited.
Okay, cool. Let's start this off. So slow down your breathing. Sorry.
Thank you. This is great.
You don't know yet. Maybe I'm a charlatan. Let's be honest.
Dude, this is research. We're doing research on ourselves.
We're doing research. And I love people to afterwards share in the chat from to. And if you want, make a selfie of yourself, make a selfie 7 minutes from now and see if you shine more.
Yes.
All right. So for now, please slow down your breathing. And I mean, really. So close your eyes, or at least that works for me. If you want to keep them open, that's fine. And you fill up as slow as you can, like really do your best. As slow as you can, you breathe in. And make your breath out longer than your breath in. Now keep on slowing down your breathing. I will count to 3 and time 1 minute while you slow down your breathing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Timing. So slow it down. No breath hold. Not becoming out of breath, then you're trying too hard. If you try too hard, you screw up for sure. So slow it down as much as you can and make your breath out longer. Make sure you count the number of times that you're breathing so you can show yourself afterwards if this stuff that I share with you is actually working. Slow down even more. Maybe you feel your skin or some parts of your body that you forgot existed. It's all normal. Heartbeat goes down. Adrenaline levels drop. And this is 1 minute. Now let's do 5 rounds of 2 more breathing. How many times did you have, by the way, just for my own research?
I took 4 breaths.
4 breaths, nice. Now we'll do 5 rounds. I will just guide you through the process.
Great.
Nose in, mouth out, as much to the belly as you can. If not, just breathe deep in. Here we go. Deep in. Bit dizzy as normal. Number 4 is coming. Number 5, extra deep in. Breathe fully out. Now breathe in and hold. Hold it here. Concentrate on your lower belly. Maybe you feel dizzy, tingling sensations. We hold it for 5 seconds more. Doing great. And breathe out long and slow. Again. 5 deep breath in and out. Number 5, extra deep. Empty your lungs. Fully out, out, out. Take a deep breath in and hold again. Again, focus on your lower belly. Keep your shoulders low, your tongue against the palate. 5 seconds more. Dizzy is normal. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And breathe out long and slow. Round number 3. If you become too dizzy, you may want to breathe a bit slower, but it's okay. Just 3 more rounds. Deep in. Number 5, deep in, fully out. Breathe everything out, out, out. Take a deep breath in. And hold. Again, focus on your lower belly, or just think of your lower belly. 5 seconds more. And now let's breathe out extra slow. Two more rounds. Just deep breath. Number 5. Fully out. In deep and hold. Think of your lower belly. If you want, touch your lower belly. Put your focus in your lower belly. 5 seconds more. And breathe out long and slow. Okay. Take a moment to swallow. One more round. Nice and slow. Number 5, extra deep and fully out. And then breathe in and hold. Hold, shoulders low, jaws relaxed. Think of your lower belly. 5 seconds more. 3, 2, 1, and let go. Breathe out. Now a bit dizzy is normal. Let's slow our breath again. Dizziness will very likely disappear. You want to say something yet?
Feels great.
So slow down your breathing again, like to the max. Like really slow in, fill up your belly, maybe your lower back, breathe to your butt, and then slowly into the diaphragm and all the way up to the top of your chest, and breathe out like you're breathing out through a straw, like really slowly, like now again, I'm gonna time 1 minute. I will count to 3 and time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, timing. Slow it down. Breathe as slow in as you can. And make your breath out longer than your breath in, like 2, 3 times longer. And 3, 2, 1. This is 1 minute. How are you doing that?
So I took one full breath and a half an inhale.
Yeah, nice.
So it worked.
It works.
Amazing.
I would love to know if there's people in the chat who want to share, like, from to, like I've tested this with more than 10,000 people, and it's on average in 5 minutes divided by 2.5. Yeah, so 5 goes to 2, 10 goes to 4. And this is also why you want to do a breath work exercise in the morning. Because if you do even if it's 5 minutes, if you have 1 hour time, go ahead. But even if it's 5 minutes, or you're on a train and you do 5 minutes, or you're waiting for the bus and you do 5 minutes, or you're waiting for your coffee because your friend is too late and you do 5 minutes of breathing, you become more breath aware. And you will be breathing slower the whole day. And you become more like Bruce Willis in Die Hard 16. Or I don't know how many Die Hards there have been made, but the whole world is burning, but Bruce stays calm because Bruce knows how to slow down his breathing. By choice, going through life in a calm way.
So when we get to this point where what I like to call, even though I never did that technique before, one of the awarenesses that I have that I notice that when I'm in a really good space is that my inhale is completely unblocked. It's not uninhibited. It's not bumpy. I'm not stuck in my intercostals. It's completely smooth. And when I'm able to be really smooth on my inhale, it seems like I'm a lot more efficient as an organism, as a human being. I'm able to serve myself and others more. That unblocked inhale, there's something to that.
I agree.
Now, to me, how do you get to that unblocked inhale doing the least amount of damage as possible to parts of the body that age? In other words, if you go to the gym, you work out, you build your muscles, you do all this frequency and wear and tear. When you leave that gym, you'll notice your inhale's unblocked. But what effort did you have to undertake to get yourself to that space? You had to do a lot of work, and you had to move the body. And, the body's great, but the body ages over time. When you look at what you just taught, there was absolutely zero wear and tear to any energy expenditure to get us to a place where we feel pretty good about ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Wendy was able to get her breath down from 6 to 2.
Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice.
If you believe in this kind of Hindu lore or ancient lore that comes from the Himalayas, there's a lot of texts that say something about that the length of your life and the quality of your life will be based on the length and the amount of breaths you take.
Yes.
It's remarkable.
Yes. I think that is kind of well known. It's the same with the number of heartbeats, and your number of heartbeats are directly related to the number of breaths you take. So now then, of course, the question is, because there's within the breath world, there's different schools. There's the left side and the right side of the spectrum, simply said. And sometimes breathwork instructors throw mud at each other. And I don't think that's true. Nothing is always true. Like if you look at Buteyko, shut your mouth and breathe. Nose in, nose out, and breathe as little as you can. But some people that practice Buteyko, they come in my training and they say like, oh no, deep breathing, that's bad. Because the Bohr effect kicks in. And that is overdone.
Mhm.
While on the other hand, you have the transformational breath instructor, or maybe the Wim Hof Method instructor, for all that matters, that has like as a solution to everything, oh, do that thing that I learned. I think as a breathwork instructor, you want to be knowledgeable and experienced in
Mhm.
your own breathwork so you can speak from authenticity. Ooh, that's a difficult word. with my ex. So if you look at it from a let's take an analogy. Let's look at running.
Mhm.
Yeah, somebody that has a running practice has a lower heartbeat than somebody else.
Mhm.
Well, the actual act of running is one where your heartbeat goes up to what, 120,
Mhm.
140.
More than that,
Now,
yeah.
does that mean that running is healthy because a high heartbeat is healthy? No, of course not.
Mhm.
And the same with deep breathing, breath hold techniques. I think, in my everyday life, I breathe as slow as I can. The two words that I want everybody to take away, breathe slowly, is totally to Buteyko style.
Mhm.
While I'm a fan of deep breathing breath hold, like this simplified Tumo, like Wim
Mhm.
Hof Method, like my own technique, TT breathing.
Mhm.
Those are extremely effective tools to become better in breathing slowly. You understand what
Exact.
I mean?
I understand exactly what you mean. I think the role of all of us is to first and foremost do no harm.
Hmm.
And
Cheers to that.
the more knowledge you have of your subject matter, the more skillful you'll be to interact with a diverse group of clients.
Mhm.
This breathwork thing does not want to be pigeonholed into white papers and research, and it's in a huge unfolding thing that's never been exposed really to the masses the way it is right now.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
I think it's because we've tried everything else and it didn't work. So
Kind of, like we're like why are people say, yeah, we're kind of screwed over as the average human being. Maybe that is because we lost our breath into this hectic environment that we live in, and we can take it back. And the funny thing is, we stop breathing properly around the age of 7.
mhm.
So, like if this is the first time you're like introduced to breathing exercise, you may think like, oh my God, I do it wrong, or I don't know, or I feel this is not right. But remember that since 7, you probably have not been breathing right. And
Mhm.
within no time, you can learn to breathe properly again.
Right.
And the energy and the focus and the resilience is the best word.
Mhm.
It's just amazing. And it's more than breath work. For me, there's a holy trinity of light exercise, breathing, and cold training, like ending your shower cold every day,
Mhm.
you know? And before you know it, this doesn't have to take like 20 minutes or an hour, like less than 10 minutes, exercise and breathing together. And then before you know it, you are just, like releasing the right neurotransmitters. There's this whole science. Let's not get too deep into that. But like, you're just happier and healthier. And that is amazing.
Well, what's amazing is that all of what you just said runs off of breath. It runs off that one sense of the breath, whether it comes in and out through the nose, and everything is connected that to the breath to some way. It's going to affect it one way or the other. Whether you're trying to work with maybe more positive psychological states of yourself, or create a
Mhm.
little better relationship with the world that you interact with. Maybe you're trying to be a little bit more balanced with your emotions and more loving to yourself rather than always putting yourself down or thinking you can't do it, or you don't have any talent and your life's never going to work, whatever it may be. There's something here that science has affirmed, but we also know through experience that connects it all for us if we wish to connect the dots in our life.
Exactly.
And you're right there on the forefront, because the breath itself is really one size fits all. I mean, it's really going to help everyone because everybody's basically working with the same. They come to this practice with pretty much either inferiority issues or superiority issues. They're either better than everybody else or they're worse than everybody else. And they just chase this all around. And then we start to control our breath, and we begin to notice there's a middle line there. There's a place in between that spot that where we can be comfortable, where we don't need to be the best, and when we don't need to be the best, then of course we're not the worst. And then we
Where
start
we
to
don't
find
give a
this,
shit.
yeah, right, right,
Because we
right,
feel
right.
good. Yeah.
And then to put it all into place, then you put people in an ice bath. And
Yeah, so
obviously it's a massive shock to our ego because our ego at a young age, resists, being in ice as a therapeutic approach to body mind medicine. How's that work?
mm. So you said something before about when that breath is not fluent. I don't know how you called it. You had a
Right.
beautiful English word for that. So although people are prepared, they know they have to slow down the breathing. That ice bath is pretty shocking. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens is either that hyperventilate or stuck or breathing like like not
Mm-hmm.
fluently, simply said. I'm trying to make the sound of breathing not fluently, but well,
I
didn't
get
work
it.
out. You get it.
It was great.
So then within what, because that's the promise we made, I believe, in the title of this podcast, is a technique to calm you down. Because if somebody is stressing out, if somebody is panicking, you cannot tell them like, hey man, relax. Hey
Mm-hmm.
man, just slow down your breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Never gonna
Right.
work.
Right.
So if somebody's freaking out in an ice bath, I got to this technique. I call it 4-8 breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really very simple. And again, I want to explain first why we are hyperventilating. Our body, our mind sees something dangerous, whether it's real or not. The ice bath is real danger, by the way. And it starts to, I need more oxygen. I'm not good. I need more oxygen to fight or flight. So, how do you trick your brain back? It's by taking a deep breath in, say for 4 counts. But if you're hyperventilating, it's just
Mm-hmm.
and hold.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 counts in, or ratio 4-8 or 2-1-4, whatever. 4 counts in, hold for 2 counts, and then make your breath out longer. Now, where do we calm down? On the breath out. And we need to take that short breath hold to trick our brain back. Our brain is like, not enough oxygen. Hee-ha, hee-ha, not enough oxygen. And then you breathe in and you hold, and he's like, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can make your breath out longer. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where you calm down. Yeah, so this is always the tool that I use when people need my help in an ice bath. Because if they don't, I like to step away. If I see somebody is good, I literally take a step back. I'm always watching, but I don't want to be that teacher that without me you're nowhere. No, it's the other way around. Without me you're everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that 4-8 breathing I've tested with over, well, let's say I put around 5,000 people in an ice bath, and 40% have problems breathing. So over 2,000 people I've tested this live with, and it works. So breathe in, to hold, and then to breathe out longer.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something, so for every teacher listening, if you see somebody panicking and somebody is breathing in, out, you become very sweet. You're not going to say, yo, breathe slower. It's not going to work. So hey, man, keep on breathing. Doing great. Now breathe a little bit deeper. It goes a little bit deeper. And now breathe in, hold.
Mm-hmm.
Hold, and breathe out. And again, breathe in, hold,
Mm-hmm.
and breathe out.
Mm-hmm.
And breathe in, hold. And now you breathe out longer. Then you can give a command like, boom, do that. Before that, not. Breathe out longer, make your breath out longer, and then you slow down the inhale. Another 2-second lock or 2 counts or whatever. And breathe out even longer. And this is the moment. And seriously, I get chills and tears in my eyes if I think about it. I've seen so many people going from extreme stress into total surrender, because that's another key word in the spiritual world. Oh, surrender. But how do you do that? By
Mm-hmm.
slowing down your breathing, by making your breath out longer. So they go from total panic into, and and they look at you or at other people like, this is incredible. I'm okay in that ice bath. And then it's my task to get them out again, which is sometimes like, okay, after 2 minutes, come on. So sometimes people just don't want to come out because they're like so amazed by what they can do themselves. Yeah, not
Mm-hmm.
what I show them, no, what they show themselves. And it's like I'm just very grateful to be able to do this and to supply for my kids also with this. I have 5 kids. It's
Mm-hmm.
not nothing. So I know what stress is or being screwed.
Well, first of all, that is so well said. Because I don't. It's funny the similarities of what we teach because I think about if I want to improve someone's exhale, I'll do exactly what you just said
Yeah,
by inhaling, hold, create pressure. Where's that pressure going to go? It's going to give you a longer exhale. So rather than
exactly.
say to someone, white knuckle it and stay with your exhale and just try to practice those muscles that you use for exhale, you can actually let the body do that on its own by simply creating pressure at the front end, which is going to improve organically and naturally the back end.
Yes.
Super cool. And if you
Yeah.
want to improve someone's inhale, you can go to the back end, exhale, hold out. The recoil of that on the front end will be a longer, deeper, richer inhale. So it's
Exactly.
so interesting how we can use the body to organically create the pressure on our own with just a little bit of skill to get the desired result.
Actually, I see here a message from Lithy.
Yeah.
This is very informative. Thank you both very much. We'll try this technique with my next ice bath. Please do so. And the people that I train, a lot of people that I train become friends. Like this is a friend from Brazil, Sylvia, and she's living in Kuwait. So Brazil, temperature 25 degrees. Sorry, I'm in Celsius. I wouldn't know. It's like normal hot, but in Kuwait, it's
Yeah.
double. It's like over 100 Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses this 428 to handle the heat, which makes sense. If you are calm, your blood vessels widen, you release more heat, and you're okay in the heat. So, yeah, it's interesting.
What another thing that just totally blows my mind about the human body, and this is the way it's been for the folks that I've put in ice baths. We have an ice chest downstairs in the
Oh, nice.
basement. We just fill it up
Ooh,
with water and we plug it in every few hours, every couple of days, and it's cold as hell. But everybody that we bring people over all through the neighborhood, like we like this is you got to try this. And what I see across the board is there's all this fear, and they get into the water. The first couple breaths are hyperventilation through the upper chest. And in
mhm.
less than 30 seconds, with just some skillful coaching, all of a sudden
Yeah,
they're like the first person to realize that they can actually slow their breath and they're actually doing it. It
yeah,
happens like that.
yeah. So I use this 4 to 8 to help people calm down, and when the breath is fluent, it still feels like hell sometimes, or probably your first time. But if you have your breath under control, you have your life under control. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean with that is maybe you cannot, like manipulate external events. If we can, I wanna know that person that was responsible for the pandemic, and I want to meet that person. But you cannot control external events, but you can control your reaction to a event. And this is, whatever inner world you can call it. And how do you do that? By slowing down your breathing. And are you hyperventilating? Use 4 to 8. It's really not that difficult.
And, it's amazing you just said that. I totally agree with this. Is that the key to controlling human psychology is to first be able to control your physiology.
Yes. Yes, I like that. I like that
And if
very
you can
much.
control your physiology, in other
Yeah.
words, if you can control your heart rate, if you can control your blood pressure, you're going to have a greater command over what we call mind.
Yes, totally. Because the mind and the body are completely connected, of course. But I've been in the spiritual world. I was a spiritual instructor, a meditation teacher. I'm a published author with a book about spirituality, a very short one, like a toilet book with quotes. Like the one that you keep on the toilet. And I don't mean to wipe your butt, but to actually read it. Although you could use it the other way around too. But I've been in that world, and everybody talks about surrender and this and that and all the beautiful keywords. But what I see is stress. I have a very intuitive mind. I see stress. You talk about surrender, like Instagram, but it's not. No, you don't. You're using the word, but you don't actually know how that works. And I'm more talking about myself than about other people, like I was there too, that using and this and that and think I know about spirituality, but I was actually way more in my mind than I'm now while I work on my physiology. And that all those spiritual truths that I gathered back then and I wrote my book about, now I'm actually living them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that is exactly as you say. It's like the focus on the physiology. Like you want to calm down your mind, think less, slow down your breathing. If you take a group of 100 people and you put them in a room and you make them slow down their breathing for 1 minute, within 1 minute, they look like Tibetan monks that have 30,000 hours of meditation practice already in their life. Like complete silence. And that is why I love to do this test. If you have a group, it's just beautiful. It's just ping, that moment it drops, and I get chills. It's just very nice.
So there's very few magic bullets out there in the world. Most times when we take shortcuts, we tend to lose quality. When I'm speaking with you, Tim, I get the feeling that there is actually a master switch for health and happiness and a deeper connection and the ability to get to know ourselves a little bit better, in the sense that if you do get to know yourself a little bit better than you knew yesterday, you might like yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
How can folks get your breath trainings?
So you can go to my website, which is timvandervliet.com. And my instructor course consists of 4 levels, but you can, like the 4 levels is 3 levels online, group coaching, about half a year, and then 1 week retreat. But the first level is called Control Your Breath, Control Your Life. You were talking about controlling your breath. My course is called Control Your Breath, Control Your Life. So I think if you Google that, or maybe we can share. Can I share a website otherwise?
You sure can. That's why we're here.
Woohoo! That's so nice. I didn't expect that. So this is my website, the Control Your Breath, Control Your Life. And then I have the instructor course, which you also can find in my menu, of course, but let me show it here. And I'm very reachable, in the upper left corner is my telephone number. Please don't call me, but send me a WhatsApp or a message, and then I can.
We have to unmute. Can you unmute yourself, Tim?
Yes.
There you go.
And I'm giving trainings like all over the world, like London, January, then end of January to Brazil, move on to Argentina for a retreat. I'm going to Spain, Norway. Anyway, you can find that on my website, most of it. I'm always a bit late with putting those things on, but you know how it goes. I have a team now that is working on that.
Well, Tim, it's been a great hour talking to you. You know, you've got a beautiful way about you. You've got a beautiful soul, a beautiful spirit. You care about humanity, and you know you're doing your part to try to move humanity along, maybe a step or two. And I'm grateful to talk with you. Is there anything you want to share with folks before we go off into our spaces tonight?
Well, remember the two words that can transform your life if you practice them. Breathe slowly.
I like that. I
It.
like that. You know,
that's control that you're seeking or finding.
You know, life is an awareness model. You know, you can't interact with anything that you're not aware of. And when you're starting to work with the breath the way you're teaching it, when you're putting yourself in cold exposure, you're raising awareness, whether you're aware of it or not. And being aware is one of the keys to having that ability to sense what the next great thing is for you in your life. It's awareness-based. Human life is an awareness-based model. And when you have Tim's ice bath and you have Tim's breathing techniques, you're going to turn on something inside of you that's been inside of you the whole ride that you haven't been aware of, and you're going to love it. Thank you, Tim.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ed.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You too. Thank
you. Peace to you, brother. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Peace to all. Thank you.